So I finally watched Borderlands, and before I get into it, I just want to say Happy St. Patrick's Day, because it is St. Patrick's Day, and if you're Irish or not, I'm part Irish. I just want to say, hope you have fun tonight, and if you're gonna have a drink or whatever, stay safe. Don't drink and drive, of course. And yeah, Happy St. Patrick's Day. So has nothing to do with the movie, but it is St. Patrick's Day. But anyways, so I did watch this, and this movie, huge bomb, massive bomb, budget 110 to 120 million, box office 33 million. Directed by Eli Roth. This has got to be the biggest budget he's played with. So I did like Thanksgiving from Eli Roth. I do like Cabin Fever. Hostel's okay. Not really my cup of tea, but I don't think it's badly made. And this movie, I have played the video games. There's like Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, then there's like a prequel. I've played parts of I think all of them with some of my friends. And so I was kind of like, okay, making a Borderlands movie. I'm not sure it's the best format for a movie, but the games, at least visually, have got a lot going on. And so this movie, I didn't hate the movie, but man, it's generic. It is a generic cookie cutter factory, lineup kind of movie. It really has that feeling throughout the whole movie. And in the video, like I don't know, like I don't remember the plot of the games that much, because the games are just, you're on this planet, you're treasure hunting, basically. It's called it's like a Diablo type, or if you ever played Diablo 1 or especially Diablo 2, you're just acquiring items, especially weapons. And the weapons are really cool in the game, and there's I think they're randomly generated, a lot of them, and there's a lot of cool ones. And then you kill a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of weapons, grenades too are a big part. And then you go back to town, you sell stuff, you could buy more weapons, and you rinse and repeat. And there is a plot, but honestly, I never paid much attention to it, because the plot just seemed generic too. So, maybe that fits. But the plot to the movie is an infamous bounty hunter returns to her childhood home, the chaotic planet Pandora, and forms an unlikely alliance with a team of misfits to find the missing daughter of the most powerful man in the universe. So it stars Cate Blanchett. She's the star, definitely, and then probably Kevin Hart. And she kind of looks like her counterpart in the game. She's like a little older. She's older, but she kind of looks like it. Krieg, that's his name, right? Yeah. He kind of looks like his character in the game. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really, especially because she's much older. And yes, and then so they did match it a little bit to the look. Claptrap's in it, who's in the video game, and man, I found Jack Black annoying in this movie. I'm sorry, he just keeps talking and talking. Like this one scene where he's like scanning this, she's trying to find that girl who is, so Kevin Hart's Roland, Cate Blanchett's Lilith, Edward Ramirez is Atlas. I think in the video game it's just the Atlas company, but in this, Atlas is a person. Florian Montagu is Krieg. Jamie Lee Curtis is Dr. Tanis. Ariana Greenblatt, that's it, is Tiny Tina. Yeah, Jack Black is Claptrap, and like this scene where she gives him this, you know, to try and find where Tiny Tina is, and he's like, oh, scanning, and he just keeps repeating this, and then she's like, can you stop doing that? And he's just like, yes, and then he just keeps doing it, and he has all these that he thinks are hilarious, I guess, remarks. Like he says to a vending machine, sugar chips instead of sugar tits. It's like, okay. So yeah, I found him throughout the entire movie annoying. Everyone else is okay, I guess. Tiny Tina can get annoying too. Like she's like, I'm gonna make it rain with your body parts, and I don't know, some of the dialogue in this is just like annoying. And it kind of gets on your nerves. But I like Cate Blanchett. You know, I thought the guy who played Krieg, at least he looks like just like in the video game, and he kind of acts like him. So that was cool. Kevin Hart wasn't as annoying with his one-liners and him trying to be funny, so I'll give it that. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she was miscast in this, because it's like she doesn't even do much. You could pretty much cancel her out of the movie, and really she doesn't look anything like her video game counterpart. So yeah, and there's some good action scenes. I mean, good, but it's PG-13. There's like no blood. There's no punch to them. There's no. This movie feels like there's no soul in it. Like it's just all. Maybe it's partly written by AI. I don't know. But you know, maybe it's just because it's based on a video game that really has a very thin plot. Most people don't even pay attention to the plot much. They're just going from point to point. It's all about the fighting. It's all about exploring the world, getting items. That's hard to translate, you know? Like for years, I think they've been talking about making a Diablo video game. Or I mean, there's like 4 of them now. Diablo movie. I think that'd be easier to do, especially if you just take like Diablo 2 and just make it into a movie. I think it would be good, because that has more of a plot that you care about, at least, and understand what's going on than Borderlands. But yeah, and there's this planet Pandora. Like I said, it has a bunch of vaults. You explore it. You're searching for this magical vault that has all this ancient technology in it, and someone is the key to everything, of course. Which is, again, just very generic. And you've seen this before many times. Edgar Ramirez is the bad guy. He owns Atlas. And it's like, you know, a huge company that provides tons of different things. And it's pretty much a world where corporations control everything, and there's little to no government at all. So it's kind of this dystopian world, yeah, where corporations have all the power. And you know, you've seen that before. Alien Romulus did this, and you've seen this many times before. Gina Gershon is Moxie. She does look like her video game counterpart. She's only in it for a little bit, but anyways, on the movie, it's just, I mean, what do you say? It's just a generic cookie cutter, cut and paste kind of movie with some good action scenes. There's a sequence where they have Motorhead, Ace of Spades. I like Motorhead. I like that song. I like Lemmy. You know, R.I.P. Lemmy. But that sequence was okay because I felt the music actually really fit it. So that was cool. But other than that, it's just a lot of stuff. Just it's like forgettable. It's like you forget it right after you watch the movie. Um, so that's kind of how I feel about it. So spoilers, if there really is any. I mean, throughout the movie, Tiny Tina you think is the chosen one that will unlock the vault. Atlas is hunting for her. He pays Kate Blanchett, who's a bounty hunter, to find her. She doesn't really want to do it, but he's, crazy rich, so he's like, I'll pay you tons of money. And she's like, okay, fine. So then she goes to Pandora. She meets Claptrap. Before that, Kevin Hart rescue Tiny Tina. They're out in the middle of nowhere. They finally find her. Tiny Tina doesn't trust her, so she attacks her. She tries to kill her. Same with Kevin Hart. Same with Krieg. Krieg is a psycho. That's what they're called. And there's a bunch of psychos in this movie that they fight. But Krieg has made a friendship with Tiny Tina for some reason. And then they all kind of get on the same page. And multiple battle scenes later, they go to the town. They meet Moxie, Gina Gershon. That part was okay because some of that does look like the video game. I just think that some of it's lost in translation because the video game has this very cartoony kind of look to it. It's almost is it cell shading, I think, and this does not have that at all. It just kind of has the bare bones look of the video games. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what you could do. Maybe this would have been a better animated movie. Would have been way cheaper to make, that's for sure, right? I don't really know the answer for that, but it just, the video game does not look realistic. We'll say that. It's not trying to at all. The world isn't trying to. It's over. Everything's turned up to 11. I found the video games funnier than this movie, though. So, yeah. And it's like, I can't believe this is Eli Roth. It's like, I don't know, maybe he's a big fan of the games. Maybe they paid him tons of money because he's a name, And I just, like, his direction is fine. It's shot fine, but like I said, it's very generic. It's just, you don't feel his style at all. Like, I didn't, at least. And there's just some annoying scenes, like when they're in this car and then Kevin Hart's telling her to roll up the window, Tiny Tina, because they're going through this, like, it's like this area that is all toxic, and it's like a basically a toxic waste dump, and there's these aliens that live in it, and she won't roll up her window, and he's like, roll it up. She's like, no, I don't want to. And then they get sprayed with like alien piss, and then Claptrap's like, oh no, it's not just piss. 28.2% of it is fecal matter, and it's just like, I don't know. This movie's trying really hard to be funny, but that just kind of annoyed me. It's like, can't you just roll up the window? Like, it's obvious. Like this, there's all these signs everywhere, and apparently it smells terrible. Why would you not want to roll the window up? But whatever. And then they finally get to the end, and they find the magic thing that they put into the ground. I never beat any of the games, so I don't know if that's accurate, but... And then Tiny Tina steps on the pillar, and she thinks she's the chosen one that will unlock it all, but she won't. And then Atlas appears, and he's like cloaked with his army, and then he's like, oh, thanks for leading us here. But we already knew it was here, and we've tried this many times before, but I guess we'll have to clone you again, because we think you're the chosen one. And then, no, Kate Blanchett's the chosen one. And then she comes down, she gets these superpowers where she could fly, and she has wings, and then she finally unlocks it for Atlas. They go in the vault, and it's just kind of empty. And then there's a giant monster, and it grabs Atlas and drags him into a hole to die. And I don't know if that's in the game, but it's like there's nothing in the vault. Like I don't know. It just seems very anticlimactic, but like apparently Tim Miller directed some of this. So Eli Roth shot the film in the summer of 2021, finished it in early 2022. However, the film was deemed incomplete due to varying rumors and reasons, including the studio objecting to the film cut's extreme R-rated violence. Eli Roth's refusal to return due to studio interference and poor screen testing. The film lingered for over 2 years while in post-production. In January 2023, the studio hired Tim Miller, who I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I know he directed the first Deadpool, which is great, but he went on this huge rant because he directed the terrible, terrible movie, and yes, Tim Miller, it is terrible, Terminator Dark Fate. And he went on this huge rant about if you don't like the movie, then you hate women, and all this stuff, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Especially if you're a fan of the first two Terminators, and then you don't like Dark Fate, but you hate women if you hate Dark Fate. But if you watch the first two Terminators, it's like a female empowerment movie, both of them. It's absolutely laughably stupid. So that really annoyed me, and then I think he started to blame James Cameron, or James Cameron started to blame him because he wanted to do something and they wouldn't let him do it, and that's why the movie failed, and that's why Terminator Dark Fate bombed and sucks, because it's man, I really hate that movie. So they got him to co-direct it, although he's not on the IMDb. But I don't know, maybe I would rather see the Eli Roth cut, because the first cut's extreme R-rated violence. I want to see that cut, because this is just generic as can be PG-13. It doesn't even matter. The film bombed. It's like, like you do. Maybe that's what happened, is they cut the heart out of the movie, inserted a bunch of Tim Miller PG-13, and it's just, you kind of lose, you lose what was special in it. So they hired him. These reshoots wound up being so extensive that Steve Jablonsky was hired to write a new musical score, as Nathan Barr's original score no longer fit the film. Well, the score is also generic and forgettable, except for the scene with Motorhead, but that's not the composer. Upon its release, the film debuted to an incredibly rare 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Cate Blanchett received a large paycheck to appear in the film. She said the gunslinging was so much fun. And yeah, apparently she took it because she was locked in at home because of that thing that happened a few years ago, talking about, and where everyone had to be locked down for some reason, she was at home, and her husband was like, you need to go and work, and I think her agent sent him the script, and she read it, and she's like, okay, I'll do it. And she also got paid tons of money, obviously, but so she's the star. I mean, she's fine. Like I said, doesn't really fit the game, but she's a pretty good actress. I didn't really have a problem with her. Eli Roth originally shot the film with an R rating, keeping it closer to the style of the M rating held by the original Borderlands video game. Further screenplay rewrites and 2 weeks of reshoots by Tim Miller dialed the film back to PG-13. Yeah, and I think probably robbed a lot of the fun out of it. This is only Roth's second film to receive a rating other than the R, after the House with Clocks in its walls. Which I've never seen that, but yeah, Cate Blanchett and Jack Black are in that. Grossed 8.6 million domestically in its opening weekend, the lowest opening weekend for a film based on a video game since Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City with 5.3 million. Oh wow. That movie's terrible too. Oh. But what's worse, this or that? Huh. I guess I would say this movie isn't terrible. It's just generic, boring. There are some good things in it. So I'd say this is probably better than Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Yeah, probably. This is the kind of movie I think, could be fun if you with you and some of your buddies, and you have some beers and you watch it and you're just kind of laughing at it, especially if you played the video games. I think maybe you could have some fun with it. So, but don't expect too much. In 2015, Lee Winnell was slated to direct the film. Eli Roth replaced Winnell, even though Roth had never directed. Replaced Winnell, even though Roth had never before directed a film with a $100 million budget. Roth began filming in 2021, but a troubled production delayed the film until 2024. Jamie Lee Curtis describes her character as autistic. This is a constant with the game, in which Tannis repeatedly describes herself as unable to relate to other people. The second time Kevin Hart and Jack Black have worked together, having earlier featured in both Jumanji films alongside each other. Opened similar to Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring, with Cate Blanchett giving the opening voice. Yeah, I guess. That movie's way better. But yeah, I think that's about it though. So yeah, if you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. Really helps the channel. So check out Borderlands. I don't know, did you enjoy it? I didn't really, but I don't hate the movie. It's not like some people it's like the worst movie ever made. It's not the worst comic book movie ever made. It's just kind of forgettable. So, but yeah, I'll see you next time. Happy St. Patrick's Day.